Good day, time, my fuzzies, and welcome to a quick review of a game, movie, or TV show I just finished. All thoughts and feelings are my own and are just for fun, quick way to get out my feelings on what I just played or watched. So enjoy and don't take anything too seriously. Alright. Good day, time, my fuzzies. Welcome to a quick review of Kirby's Adventure. Overall, a very nice game that took everything that Kirby's Dream Land was and infused it with new things, made it a lot longer, and overall a good experience. Really fun. Yeah, so, yeah, like I said, it's just Kirby Dream Land, but extended and made better-ish. And starting with making it better-ish is the story. The story of Kirby's Adventure follows the land of Dreamland falling into a nightmarish nightmare. Every time people go to sleep, all they are filled with is nightmares. Kirby must go around collecting the broken Star Rod to reassemble it, put it back in the Fountain of Dreams, and bring peace to the world. And so he does so. He goes throughout the world fighting DDD's minions in order to get all the Star Rod pieces, all 6 of the Star Rod pieces, make it to the fountain, defeat DDD, and the end has come. Overall, it's a very good game. The story gives a little more I guess, yeah. It's, you know, it is what it is. It's fun. You're actually collecting something here rather than just going through the world. Yeah, it's nice to know you're actually doing something and progressing to different parts of Dreamland to collect said MacGuffin in order to save the Dreamland, Dream Area world. And that's pretty good. You know, nothing, like, yet also you have to look into, like, the manual and whatnot to find the story, but still, a good story nonetheless. Really fun to go through and just see the sights. Again, it's just more Kirby. What could go wrong? All ending with spoilers. There is a nightmare beast that has invaded Dreamland and is looking for the Star Rod. So in returning the Star Rod to the Realm of Dreams, you release him, or he awakens, ready to fight, and then Kirby defeats him and everything truly goes back to normal. The nightmare is over. But, speaking of Nightmare and Kirby and even DDD, going into the characters, again, you have the classic Kirby's there, who's a lovable goofball, who's doing goofy things, has a big appetite for food and whatnot, and it's kind of clumsy, but gets the job done. Cute and clumsy. So a lot more of the same from the first game and whatnot. Then you have DDD, who in this one is the main villain of it, is the main antagonist of the series, of the game, having got the Star Rod, destroyed it, and everyone thinks it's him who had DDD, who, you know, is trying to give everyone nightmares. When in fact, in truth, he is trying to help Kirby and the rest of the Dreamland by, you know, not letting the nightmare progress and get farther. So this is where we kind of you start seeing the duality of King DDD, where he is a very selfish, him type of character who just needs to do what he's going to do, and he does stuff for himself a lot of the time, but he will be there for the people of Dreamland and will help Kirby whenever Kirby needs help. So this is a good showing of, like, he's not really a villain. He's more of an obstacle a lot of the time going forward in the games, where he does do bad things, but he's more of a, I guess, anti-hero maybe? Anti-villain? Anti-villain might be better. Where he's not straight up, destroy Kirby, he's useless. And more like, yeah, he's against Kirby, but he will help Kirby from time to time. And introduced into this game, you got the likes of, I believe it's Meta Knight. I don't know if they went with a different name for him. Again, there's nothing really saying, you just kind of see pictures of him. Meta Knight, who throughout the journey is kind of the same as DDD, where he's on your side, but still does stuff to impede you, to stop you and whatnot. So, like, as you go through, he'll throw stuff like the invincibility candies, lollipops or whatever, to make Kirby invincible in some areas to rush through. Other times, he sends his legion of enemies to go for you. He's even a boss, where when you're fighting, where you go, he just fights you for the boss in one of the star pieces. Which adds in where King Dedede is more selfish than helpful. It shows that Meta Knight, Meta Knight works for Dedede, but it's where it starts, where even though he works for King Dedede, he is on Kirby's side. He wants Kirby to succeed and do better and grow in a lot of these games. But because he works for King Dedede, he can't just always outright help Kirby. There always has to be, you know, he has to make appearances and whatnot. Which is, I like his character for that. He's very much a mentor to Kirby, while also helping Dedede. It's good. I like it. Going from that, you have the new character of Nightmare, who you don't really see much. He's kind of just a being that can teleport, send out stars or empty stars at enemies, and cause nightmares. You don't really get to know him. There's not much to him. You kind of just defeat him and move on with your day. So, you know, is as it is. Yeah, characters, but further on, you know, this is where you get the development of, Meta Knight and Dedede being not truly evil villains, but more just obstacles doing their own thing a lot of the times, and sometimes it hurts the people of Dreamland, but a lot of time, if some push comes to shove from an outside force, they will rise up to stop the said force. Moving on to the areas, there are 6 areas in the game. I know them all off by heart. Kirby and levels. Yeah, forgive me as I quickly look. Sub games, goal games. Areas? Is that better? Come on, I just want to know what the worlds are. So you got a lot of food places where you go. You start in, where's one? Vegetable Valley, maybe? Vegetable Valley, more of a jungle-ish forested area. Going into Ice Cream Land, which is more Cliffs, is more of a tropical island setting. You have Butter Building, which is more of a tower that you climb all the way up. You got Yogurt Yard, which is more of a hilly, mountainous terrain with waterfalls. Orange Ocean, which is the water area of the game. And ending with 7 being the Star Fountain, which is very starry, mysterious, dark, and all that. And a lot of the areas, like, they have their themings and whatnot. But there are some times where it just feels like they just made backgrounds and doing what you're doing for whatever reason. Like the one area you're going up the hill, there's times, or into the building, there's times you go outside and you're just in a jungle. Or a forested area, or mountains or whatnot, and then it's back in. So while the areas, in theory, should be very different and whatnot, there are times where you're going in forest areas, which should be the first area, the first world of the game, later on. So it just makes for a weird mishmash sometimes, where all the areas are fine, You know, I don't play Kirby for the areas, though there are beautiful areas and obstacles. It's just weird seeing how some things are like, yeah, we'll just put a forest in the middle of this tower area you're going through. Or something like that. Some of it leads very well. At one point you're going through like a forest, then you go into a like mansion thing, but literally it's just a boss fight, a mini boss fight, and then you leave, and then you go back into the forest. So there's one where you're going into going on a dock, then you're on a ship, and then it ends and whatnot. So there's somewhat of a follow through on where it feels like levels are progressing as you're like going through the level, you're like going through the world, and other times it just feels so random. But again, it's not bad, it's just weird that they made choices like that. But either way, getting to the main event of everything, being the game mechanics. And the game, just like Yoshi's Dreamland, Kirby's Dreamland, you have the move, the walk, the unlimited hover, the puff when you go out, but added into this one, there's the suction attack and whatnot, but with the suction attack now, you can actually ingest certain foes and get powers. So I think there's 20 powers in the game, and they range from stuff like shooting out fire in a little direction, shooting a laser, a sword ability, which is my favorite, a hammer ability, which is my favorite, and you use these abilities to just go through the level. Some of them are better for traversing, like there's a fire blast thing that makes you shoot forward, there's a wheel ability that makes you like roll along an area. There's just a lot of abilities that do a lot of things, so there's a variety of what you like. And you can change up when you find them in museums, or fight bosses for them, or find them in levels, etc, etc. So the gameplay here really does take everything from Kirby Dream Land and ups the ante in every regard. You get the change ability, you get the copy abilities now. The areas, there's actually like a hub map thing with more levels to go through. So it's very nice. All in all, it's a very, and going on to Legacy, as I kind of have been, it really does take everything from Dreamland, Kirby's Dream Land, and expands it in such a great way. Like I said, you get the copy abilities, so you can use the copy abilities to go through the levels and have many different choices and whatnot. The levels now also have secrets that if you hit certain switches, things in the overworld will go out. There's now mini games that can give you extra lives, or points. A warp star to get through and whatnot. So all in all, this really takes everything from Kirby's Dream Land and expands it in such a great way, giving it color, and just, yeah, it's more of what I want. And a lot of the staples of Kirby are now coming from this. From Meta Knight appearing, DDD not truly being a evil villain that a lot of game series have. He's more of like, he wants his own things, but he will help the people when needed. And it's just, all in all, a really good-ish story. It's a fun story of Kirby going through all the areas. All 6 areas, and then leaving off to the 7th to get the Star Rod back into place. It kind of makes sense with the progression. The areas do look very nice. The moves you get are very nice. All in all, it's a very good game for Kirby, and a great expansion on everything that came in Kirby's Dream Land. To make it, again, a lot of staples of Kirby did come from this, and it's wonderful. But either way, I think I've rambled on long enough. I thank you, my fuzziest, for watching. I hope you enjoyed my quick review and just the game in general. It's a good game. I recommend it. And I will see you next anytime. Take care.